Day 2 of Diddy's trial ends, and things are getting worse for him.
Jury selection is officially underway in the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Chloe Malas was in federal court today, and Chloe, no jurors selected, but a pretty revealing start to the 8-week trial.
Lester, that's right. It was an illuminating first day of court. Combs entered the courtroom wearing a crew neck sweater and a white button-down shirt. He had some gray in his hair and in his goatee. And at one point, he told the judge that he needed to use the bathroom and that he was feeling a little bit nervous. Now, also, several celebrities were named today, although they haven't been accused of any wrongdoing. They might be mentioned during the course of the trial. Their names are Michael B. Jordan, Mike Myers, Kanye West, and his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who has accused him of years of physical and emotional abuse. And she is expected to testify during the trial. Now, Combs has vehemently denied all of the allegations against him. I also want to point out that celebrity attorney Mark Garagos, he was present in the courtroom. His daughter is Tenny Garagos, one of the lead attorneys for Combs throughout this trial. Now, a source telling NBC News that he hasn't joined the team, but he is advising on jury selection.
The Day 2 of Diddy's trial ends, and things are getting worse for him. The second day of Sean Diddy Combs' trial has wrapped up, and the situation looks grim for the music mogul. New court documents suggest prosecutors confronted him about lying when he claimed the video of him assaulting Cassie Ventura was fake. Initially, Diddy admitted the footage was real and even publicly apologized. But just a week before the trial, his legal team suddenly changed course, deleting his apology and filing a motion insisting the video was altered. This flip-flop suggests Diddy is terrified of Cassie's testimony.
Combs wants that video or videos excluded from trial. And for that, we turn to his motion in limine to exclude video footage of that March 5th, 2016 incident. Motion in limine is a pretrial motion that aims at preventing evidence from coming into trial or limiting it in some way. And it starts by saying, quote, "There is no longer any dispute that the CNN footage from March 5th, 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel offered by the government at 3 separate bail hearings is wholly inaccurate, having been altered, manipulated, sped up, and edited to be out of sequence. As indicated below, CNN paid Redacted, don't know who this person is, Redacted, for footage, copied that footage in unknown ways, presented that footage out of order, and destroyed the original. Accordingly, all the footage from CNN is inaccurate and inadmissible. As for the 2 items of footage filmed by an iPhone 6, those pieces of footage are inaccurate and inadmissible as well for the reasons set out below."
Especially now that she's been officially listed as a witness. That damning video, which shows Diddy violently attacking Cassie, sparked the entire investigation. Now it might also be the key piece of evidence that lands him behind bars. His lawyers are desperately trying to block it from being shown in court, but legal experts confirm it's admissible. Diddy's shifting story before the video leaked, Diddy's legal team dismissed Cassie's allegations as lies. But once the footage went viral, he posted an Instagram apology admitting he was disgusted by his actions and vowing accountability. That didn't last. Within days, he deleted the—
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. Disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy, going to rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
Post and launched attacks against Cassie, attempting to discredit her. Now, his attorneys are arguing that the video, along with evidence seized from his homes, should be thrown out because the search warrants were overly broad. They claim law enforcement illegally obtained the material, but prosecutors disagree. If the judge sides with the defense, critical evidence could disappear, but legal analysts say that's unlikely. The cover-up could be worse than the crime court. Filings reveal that Diddy allegedly paid off hotel staff and others to help hide his crimes. Without their cooperation, prosecutors argue, he wouldn't have been able to exploit so many victims for so long. Even celebrities who attended his parties, witnessing illegal activity but staying silent, could face scrutiny. This scandal has been brewing for years. In 2018, Jonathan Audi, a former associate, claimed Diddy forced Cassie into trafficking situations, but few took the accusations seriously. Now, with multiple victims coming forward, the case is reaching a boiling point.
Combs' request from the court is to hold a hearing. And at this hearing, Combs explains that his team wants to call a forensic video analysis named Connor McCourt to show that this video evidence is inaccurate. Sean Combs' defense team argues the videos are unreliable, that they would unfairly confuse and mislead the jury, that they would be more prejudicial to Combs than it would provide any kind of relevant or probative value for the prosecution's case. They write, quote, "If a picture is worth 1,000 words, a video is worth a number well over the court's word limit." Again, the basic argument from Combs and his team is that CNN heavily and deceptively edited the video and turned about 10.5 minutes of footage into a 48-second, quote, out-of-order clip that ended with Combs appearing to drag Redacted, again, we believe that to be Cassandra Ventura, to a hotel room. And they argue that this painted the rapper and the music mogul in the worst possible light for the world to see. And as they previously incorrectly mentioned, prosecutors relied on this tape in prior bail hearings to support their argument that Combs shouldn't be released pre-trial.
Diddy rejected a plea deal. Gambling on trial prosecutors reportedly offered Diddy a deal: admit guilt, name his co-conspirators, and receive a lighter sentence. He refused, choosing to fight in court instead. Legal experts say this is a huge risk. If convicted, he could spend decades in prison. Jury selection is already underway, with 35 potential jurors screened so far. 10 more will be added, totaling 45 for what's expected to be a 2-month trial. The process is intense. Jurors are being asked if they can handle viewing explicit evidence, including the infamous freak-off tapes. The tapes that could destroy Diddy authorities confiscated hours of footage from Diddy's Miami mansion during last year's raids. The FBI is still decrypting files, but insiders say the videos contain...
Now to Sean Diddy Combs, looking to suppress evidence in his federal trial. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Kotturski is back with the story. Good morning again, Aaron.
And to you, Michael. You'll remember federal agents from Homeland Security investigations were hardly shy when they raided Sean Combs' opulent homes in Los Angeles and Miami, guns drawn. The jailed music mogul now argues those searches and other searches of his iCloud accounts, electronic devices, and New York City hotel room following his arrest were unconstitutional. His lawyers argue evidence obtained through those searches must be suppressed. Diddy's lawyers say the government presented a grossly distorted picture of reality when applying for the search warrants, omitting certain facts and including salacious details from an unnamed producer that were never credible. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracies, trafficking, and prostitution charges. The defense is also arguing here his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, was a willing participant in drug-fueled sex performances called freak-offs, not coerced as prosecutors allege. This latest challenge to his case comes 3 months before trial, and as Combs loses one of his attorneys, Anthony Rico says under no circumstances can he continue to represent Combs. He offered no details about that decision, Robin.
Okay. All right. Thanks to you, Aaron.
Incriminating scenes of drug-fueled parties where women were allegedly coerced into sex acts. Prosecutors plan to use clips to pressure witnesses into testifying, many only, agreed to cooperate after learning they appeared in the footage. A mountain of evidence. The case against Diddy is overwhelming. Hundreds of witnesses have been interviewed, and prosecutors are confident they can prove he ran a criminal enterprise exploiting vulnerable people. With Cassie set to testify and the video evidence locked in, Diddy's legal team has an uphill unsung battle. As the trial unfolds, more shocking details are expected to emerge. For now, one thing is clear. Diddy's empire and his freedom are in serious jeopardy. The walls are closing in on Sean Diddy Combs and his once powerful legal defense is collapsing in real time. With federal prosecutors boasting a 97% conviction rate, the hip-hop mogul finds himself...
Everyone that helped Diddy cover up his crimes, including the hotel staff he paid off, should end up behind bars. These people helped Diddy cover up his crimes, and if it wasn't for them, Diddy could have never abused so many people. The celebrities at his parties that witnessed crimes taking place but never reported anything are just as guilty as Diddy.
When I looked at that thing, to be honest, I thought that the people who was watching it, because you know at those hotels, they have security personnel that watch that stuff. And if they didn't call the police, they should be in jail. I don't care what nobody say. You know, whoever watched that tape and didn't submit that to the authorities, they should be brought up on charges.
Why do you think the video is barely coming out right now? Because you got a lot of people, you know, that's wondering why it took so long.
First of all, they know that Puff probably paid the security personnel because he knew it was on camera. When he made it to the hallway, when she made it to that phone, once that phone picked up, that's going straight to security. That's for emergency purposes only. So either the concierge or somebody that's handling emergency type situations when she picked up that phone. So now, Puff probably had somebody pay them off. 9 times out of 10, he had somebody pay them off, bruh.
Himself in the fight of his life, one that even his high-priced attorneys don't believe they can win. Cassie's testimony could be the final nail in the coffin at. The center of this legal storm is Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex-girlfriend of over a decade, who is prepared to take the stand under her real name. Unlike other witnesses who might hide behind anonymity, Cassie's willingness to testify publicly sends a clear message. She's not afraid of him anymore. If she details the alleged abuse, manipulation, and other disturbing behavior she endured, during their relationship, prosecutors will have an undeniable human face to put on their case, something juries don't easily ignore. Lawyers are fleeing, a telltale sign of doom. When even your own legal team abandons you, the situation is
the last hearing before Sean Combs' trial starts. When he walked into federal court today, he appeared to be looking for his family. They've pretty much been at all of the hearings that I've been to, but there was no presence of his sons or his mother or his sister who had previously been at those hearings. So here's what came out of today's hearing. Number one, the government acknowledged that they offered Combs a plea deal. Combs acknowledged he has no interest in taking that. They're going to move forward with the trial. They also talked about the jury selection process, which one legal expert I spoke to said is probably the most important thing that you want to pay close attention to before the actual trial starts. And thirdly, we learned that Combs will be adding 2 new attorneys to his defense team. And just to recap, Combs, who is 55 years old, could spend the rest of his life behind bars if convicted on sex trafficking and racketeering. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Major developments tonight involving the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Dyer, Grubman, Shire, Meiselas, and Sachs, Diddy's longtime law firm, dropped him immediately after the federal lawsuit was filed. These are lawyers who built careers defending powerful celebrities. If they're running, they know something the public doesn't. Anthony Rico, one of Diddy's 6 defense attorneys, quit in February, citing ethical concerns. His departure wasn't just professional, it was a silent indictment of Diddy's chances. Legal experts say this kind of mass exodus almost never happens unless the case is unwinnable. The too drunk to know better defense, a sign of desperation with his legal team in shambles.
The other thing I wanted to ask you that I found fascinating is that Diddy reportedly yesterday asked that judge for a bathroom break, telling the judge, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I'm a little nervous today. Were you surprised that he admitted that? And what do you think that reveals about him ahead of opening statements?
I'm so glad you brought that up. Look, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The fact that we are going to trial in under a year from when a defendant is arrested and indicted at the federal level doesn't happen. But Combs has been pushing towards this trial date. He doesn't want to spend one more day behind in federal lockup. Having said that, you're now at this case. And the government, this is the Southern District of New York, they don't move forward with the case unless they feel they have the goods. He's looking at not only life in prison, and the maximum charge, but potentially decades in prison. The third charge that he's facing, transportation to engage in prostitution, Constitution, that can carry 10 years in prison. And some argue that's the most straightforward charge to actually convict him on. So I think he's feeling the weight of what's happening. Jury selection, a panel of his peers coming in to decide his fate. It is real right now for him.
Of course, they're all going to know who Sean Combs is, but they're going to need to find jurors who, despite the fact that they are familiar with Diddy, they still can be fair.
Diddy's remaining lawyers are resorting to a shocking legal strategy, claiming he was too intoxicated to understand his actions. This argument is risky and rarely successful in federal court, especially in cases involving serious allegations, like sex trafficking. If the judge rejects it, Diddy will have no credible defense left. The judge isn't buying the stall. Tactics Diddy's team begged for a 2-month delay, but the judge denied it. This means
the jury sits. Will they be shown these tapes?
100%.
Will they have to watch it in court? Like during
100% in court in front of a room of people. And so that's the other thing that's awful. They are going to be watching basically for hours on end in front of people. So in front of victim one, whoever it may be, there's going to be played in the federal courtroom.
And victim one would have been made aware of this.
Oh, 100%. She's probably being told right now, like, this is going to be played in open court. Your sex history, your sex life is going to be talked about in open court. All of this.
And presumably then she knows that and she's pushing forward because she hasn't withdrawn.
Don't forget this. It doesn't matter if she does or she doesn't. This isn't the civil case, this is the criminal case. So she could flat out tell the federal government, I don't want to participate, and they can say, we don't care. This is a crime. Crimes are against the United States, not against, they keep calling her victim one, but don't forget, she's a witness to a crime. So it doesn't matter if she went to them in today and said, I'm not participating. Their response, we don't care, get your ass on the stand.
Prosecutors have more time to strengthen their case. Diddy's lawyers have less time to prepare a weak defense. The trial will proceed while public outrage is still fresh. The racism claim backfired. Spectacularly, Diddy's legal team tried arguing that he's only being targeted because he's a wealthy black man, but this backfired immediately.
The judge has drilled down on some of those questions that they answered in the questionnaire to see whether or not they had any issues to serving in this trial.
Why? Because Anthony Rico, the only black...
The allegations implicate dozens of unidentified witnesses and alleged co-conspirators around the world. And some of the key witnesses to the supposed incidents are dead. Basically meaning, how can we defend against it? The defense is not even permitted to share the identities of the individuals described in the disclosure letter with Mr. Combs until April 18th, further hampering defense counsel's ability to investigate. Collectively, these new allegations require many months, if not years, to investigate, and if admitted, would require a series of mini-trials certain to double the length of a trial the government originally said would last 3 weeks. So this is an explosive allegation that on its face, I don't know if I necessarily disagree with. If they are bringing in evidence of uncharged conduct, wouldn't the defense have an opportunity to investigate it and challenge it? It seems like they're making a point. So if this evidence is allowed in, there is a chance this could delay the trial significantly. We all know Combs wants to go to trial, but how can he properly defend himself against this in just a few weeks?
Black attorney on Diddy's team resigned shortly after this argument was made. If even his own lawyer refused to stand by that claim, how can a jury believe it? What's next? With incriminating tapes, Cassie's testimony, and a shrinking legal team, Diddy's options are disappearing fast. Federal prosecutors don't bring cases unless they're confident they can win.
All right, Cassie. She plans to testify against Diddy at the trial, and she's going to use her name. So a lot of the women who have accused Diddy are anonymous. They're Jane Doe or Victim One.
Or John Does.
Or John Does. But Cassie apparently is going to take this stand and talk about her... obviously, that tape of him beating her up at the hotel is what set off this whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, this has just made it matters so bad for Diddy. So now that she is gonna sit up there and like look him square in the eyes and talk about her side of the story, that's not great for Diddy, obviously.
No, and like I think also Cassie is a celebrity, right? Like millennials know who she was or is. She had like a booming career back in the day. So I think it also adds some extra zhuzh when you have like a well-known public figure coming forward.
Trusted public figure.
Trusted and beloved
Yeah.
too. So I think that also will hurt him. She of course became public. All of this went public when that video came out from CNN. So it's been revealed who she is already, and now she is not looking to conceal her name. She wants to, put it all out on the table. And yeah, yikes, it could be really bad for him.
And in this situation, they're not just confident, they're unstoppable. Will Wayne justice finally be served? Hollywood has a long history of letting powerful men evade consequences, but this time feels different. The feds don't care about fame or money. They care about convictions. What do you think? Is Diddy headed for prison, or will he somehow escape accountability? Drop your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned.
So the high-powered law firm of Grubman, Shire, Masalis, and Sachs has dropped Combs as a client. Now, this is the firm of Alan Grubman, who is a very prominent entertainment lawyer that represents some very big names. The Weeknd, Madonna, Chris Brown, Paul Simon, Usher, Bruce Springsteen. In fact, by the way, Alan Grubman was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He actually helped found that back in the 1980s. So, gives you an idea about how big of a powerhouse this firm is. Now let's go back to Sean Combs. So the rumor circulating is that this firm did this because singer and actress Lady Gaga had threatened to leave the firm unless they parted ways with Combs. This is according to reporting by News Nation. And it's a big deal because the rapper and producer had apparently been with Grubman's firm for over 20 years. He was friends with Alan Grubman by all accounts.
This case is far from over. Like and subscribe for updates. This story is evolving daily.